My name is Deepa, Associate Professor, Sri Balaji College of Nursing. Today we are going to see about normal puparium. This puparium. Puparium is the period following childbirth during which the body tissues, especially the pelvic organs, revert back approximately to the pre-pregnant state, both anatomically and physiologically. Then duration of puparium. Puparium begins as soon as the placenta is expelled and lasts for approximately 6 weeks. When maternal system returns to pre-pregnant state, the duration is divided into immediate, yearly, remote. Yearly immediate puparium is within 24 hours. That is after the expulsion of the placenta to till 24 hours is called immediate puparium. Yearly puparium is up to 7 days. Remote is up to 6 weeks. The fourth trimester is the time from delivery until complete physiologic involution and psychological adjustment. Then physiological changes during pregnancy. Involution of the uterus. Under involution of the uterus, we are going to see anatomical consideration and physiological consideration. Under anatomical consideration, we are going to see about uterus. Uterus becomes firm and retracted with alternate hardening and softening. It measures about 20 centimeter length, 12 centimeter breadth, 7.5 centimeter thickness and weighs about 1000 grams. At the end of the 6 weeks, it becomes non-pregnant state, that is 8 centimeter length, 5 centimeter breadth, 1.25 centimeter weight about 60 grams. Then lower uterine segment. Immediately following delivery, the lower uterine segment becomes a thin, flabby and collapsed structure. It takes a few weeks to revert back to the normal shape and size of the isthmus. That is the part between the body of the uterus and internal arch of the cervix. Then cervix. Cervix contracts slowly. The external arch admits 2 fingers for a few days, but by the end of the first week, narrows down to admit the tip of a finger only. The external arch never revert back to the nullipara state. Then physiological consideration. Under physiological consideration, first one is muscles. There is marked hypertrophy and hyperplasia of muscle fibers during pregnancy, and the individual muscle fiber enlarges to the extent of 10 times in length and 5 times in breadth. During puparium, the number of muscle fiber is not decreased, but there is a substantial reduction of the myometrial cell size. Then blood vessels. The changes of the blood vessels are pronounced at the placental site. Endometrium. Endometrium is the inner layer of the uterus. Regeneration starts by 7th day. Regeneration of the epithelium is completed by 10th day. The entire endometrium is restored by the day 16, except at the placental site, where it takes about 6 weeks to involute. It will, after 6 weeks only, come back to normal state. Then size of the uterus after the delivery. Immediately following delivery, the fundus of the uterus is lie down at the level of the umbilicus. Each day, 1.25 centimeter will be reduced. At the end of 10th day, it will come back to normal. Then we are going to see about lochia. Lochia is the vaginal discharge for the first fortnight during puparium. Discharge originates from the uterine body, cervix, and vagina. The color of the lochia, depending upon the variation, it divides into lochia rubra, lochia serosa, and lochia alba. Lochia rubra is red in color. It occurs 1 to 4 days. Lochia serosa is yellowish or pink or pale brownish color. It occurs 5 to 9 days. Lochia alba is pale white color. It occurs 10 to 15 days. The amount of the lochia is about the first 5 to 6 days is estimated to be 250 ml. Then composition of lochia. Lochia rubra consists of blood, shreds of fetal membrane, and decidua, vernix caseosa, lanugo, and meconium. Lochia serosa consists of less RBC, more leukocytes, wound exudates, mucus from the cervix, and microorganism. Lochia alba contains plenty of decidual cells, leukocytes, mucus, collagen crystals, fatty and granular epithelial cells, and microorganism. Then clinical importance. Vulval pads are inspected daily to get information about order, amount, color, and duration of the lochia. This is the assessing the postpartum lochia. How to assess the sanitary napkin. And this if stain is less than 4 inches, it's a small amount. Less than 6 inches, it's a moderate amount. More than 6 inches, it's a heavy amount. Then general physiological changes. First, pulse. Few hours after normal delivery, the pulse rate is likely to be raised. It settled down to normal by second day. The temperature also slight increase in temperature following delivery 0.5 degree Fahrenheit, but it comes down to normal within 12 hours. Then urinary tract. The bladder wall becomes edematous and hyperemic. Stagnation of the urine contribute to the urinary tract infection in puerperium. Then gastrointestinal tract. Increased thirst in early puerperium is due to loss of fluid during labor. Constipation is the common problem for the following reasons. Then weight loss. Weight loss about 5 to 6 kg as a consequence of the expulsion of the fetus, placenta, liquor, and blood loss. Then fluid loss. 2 liters during the first week, 1.5 liter during the next 5 weeks, fluid loss will be there. Then blood values. Slight decrease of blood volume due to dehydration and blood loss. Volume returns to the non-pregnant level by the second week. Cardiac output rises 60%. It returns to normal within 1 week. Then RBC volume and hematocrit values return to normal. Platelet count decreases and fibrinogen level remains high. Menstruation and ovulation. First menstrual period following delivery will vary and depends on lactation. If the woman does not breastfeed her baby, the menstruation returns by the 6th week following delivery. In non-lactating mother, ovulation may occur as early as 4 weeks and in lactating mother about 10 weeks after delivery. Mothers should use contraceptive measures after delivery. Next, nursing care of mother during puerperium. The principles of nursing care is to give all out attention to restore the health status of the mother and to prevent infection, to take care of the breast, to promote lactation and to take care of child, and to motivate the mother for contraception. What are the nursing care means? First one is rest and ambulance. Good rest to feel fresh can breastfeed the baby. Good sleep is a need for both physical and mental health. Then yearly ambulation. Ambulation is nothing but walking. If mother is walking as much as earlier after delivery, it can provide the sense of well-being. Then bladder complication and constipation are reduced. It prevents the puerperal venous thrombosis and embolism. Then diet. Advise the mother to take normal diet, high calories, adequate protein, fat, plenty of fluids, minerals, and vitamin has to advised. Next, care of bowel and bladder. The mother is encouraged to pass urine following delivery as soon as convenient. Then the diet containing sufficient fiber and fluid is enough to move the bowel. Then care of vulva and episiotomy wound. After the delivery, vulva and buttocks are washed with soap water down over the anus, and a sterile pad is applied. Personal cleanliness of the vulval region. The perineal wound should be dressed with sprit and antiseptic powder after urination and defecation. A change sanitary pads at least every 2 to 4 hours. Encourage sitz bath 20 minutes 3 times a day. Then educate patient to take well-balanced diet, that is rich protein and vitamin diet. Avoid from scratching or touching the wound site unnecessarily. Educate the mother regarding signs of infection like swelling, redness, etc. Early ambulation to help healing process of episiotomy wound. Hegel exercise to strengthen the pelvis and lesser the perineal pain. Hegel exercise is nothing but it's a pelvic tilting exercises. Next, assess the Rida scale. If mother is undergone episiotomy, we have to assess the Rida scale. R for redness, E for edema, E for ecchymosis. Ecchymosis is nothing but infections. D for discharge, A for approximation of the wound. Then care of breast. The nipple should be washed with water before each feeding. It should be kept dry after the feeding is over. It support the breast with brassiere. Avoid nipple soreness. Then maternal infant bonding. It starts from it's it starts from first few moments after birth. The baby should be kept in her bed or in a cot besides her bed. Initiate breastfeeding. Next, breastfeeding in the correct position. This is the correct position of the breastfeeding. When mother is feeding the baby, mother should be in comfortable position. Then she has to feed the baby. When feeding the baby, baby nipple and areola should inside the baby's mouth. These are all the some of the breastfeeding positions, that is cradle hold position, cross cradle hold, lying down and football hold. Next one is asepsis and antiseptics. It maintains the asepsis during perineal wound dressing. Use clean bed linen and clothing and clean surroundings and limited number of visitors to prevent the infections. Next, management of elements. Abdominal pain due to presence of placental bits or blood clots. If mother is having abdominal pain, as a nurse, we have to massage the uterus gently. Then check for expulsion of the clot. Then administer analgesics and antispasmodics. If there is a pain in the perineum, check for vulval hematoma. The nursing care is sitz bath with hot or cold water twice a day or thrice a day. Then records. What and all we observed, everything we have to record it. That is vital signs twice a day. Then measurement of the fundal height, that is involution of the uterus. Then character of lochia, whether it is lochia rubra, lochia serosa, and lochia alba. Then bowel and bladder movement of the mother. Then for newborn, have to monitor the vital signs. Then daily you have to check the weight of the baby. Then we have to assess the nutrition pattern, whether baby is sucking well or not. Then bowel and bladder pattern of the baby, everything we have to record it. Then we are going to see about postnatal care. It is the care given to the mother and her newborn baby immediately after the birth and for the first 6 weeks of life. Then routine postnatal care, monitoring and assessment of maternal and neonatal well-being, support for good caregiving practices like warmth, hygiene, yearly initiation and exclusive breastfeeding, responsive care and stimulation. In prevention, detection and treatment of complication like for maternal, postpartum hemorrhage, hypertension and infection, for newborn, asphyxia, prematurity, and sepsis. Providing information and counseling regarding nutrition, family planning, and psychological support. Then for baby, Bathing should be delayed to after 24 hours of birth. If this is not possible at all due to cultural reasons, bathing should be delayed for the at least 6 hours. During each postnatal visit, the newborn should be assessed for signs of illness and referred if any signs is present. Stop feeding when the history of convulsions, fast breathing, severe chest indrawing, no spontaneous movement. The temperature is 37.5 degrees Celsius. Any jaundice in first 24 hours life. Essential routine postnatal care for all mothers. Assess and check for bleeding, check temperature, and support breastfeeding, checking the breast to prevent mastitis, manage anemia, promote nutrition and insecticide treated bed nets, give vitamin A supplementation, complete tetanus toxoid immunization if required, provide counseling and a range of options for family planning. Refer for complications such as bleeding, infection, or postnatal depression. Then counsel on danger sign and home care. Then essential routine postnatal care for all newborns. Until 12 hours after birth, assess for danger sign, measure and record weight and the check temperature and feeding. Support optimal feeding practices, particularly exclusive breastfeeding. Promote hygiene and good skin, eye and cord care. If prophylactic eye care is local policy and has not been given, it is still effective. Promote clean, dry cord care and eye care. Next, identify superficial skin infections such as pus draining from umbilicus, redness extending from umbilicus to skin, more than 10 skin pustules and swelling, redness and hardness of skin, and treat or refer if the baby also has danger sign. Ensure warmth by delaying the baby's first bath to after the first 24 hours, practicing skin to skin care and putting a hat on the baby. Encourage and facilitate birth registration, then refer for routine immunization, then counsel on danger sign and home care. And postnatal assessment definition. Postnatal examination is the systematic examination done in order to assess the general physical and mental status of the mother. Next, what are the equipments needed for postnatal assessment is a sterile tray containing artery forceps, thumb forceps, kidney tray, bowel with gauze piece, wrap sheet, sterile pad. Then clean tray containing vital signs tray, torch to visualize eyes, ears and mouth, and stethoscope to auscultate the chest and bowel sound, then bowl with cotton or gauze piece to clean the breast, and paper bag to dispose the solid waste, inch tape to measure the fundal height, pen and paper to record the finding, Macintosh and draw sheet, antiseptic solution. These are all the equipments needed for postnatal assessment. Next, we are going to see about how to do postnatal assessment. When you are doing postnatal assessment, we should remember bubble key. B for breast, U for uterine fundus, B for bladder function, one more B for bowel function, L for lochia, E for episiotomy, H for Homan sign, and E for emotional status. And position the mother in supine and wrap her. Wash hands, then eye examination. Whenever we are doing assessment, how to do head to foot assessment. Assess the color of the conjunctiva, whether it is pale or not. Then breast examination. When we are doing breast examination, we should remember two things. First one is inspection, second one is palpation. Under inspection, first inspect the breast for size and symmetry. Then nipple, whether it is nipple is protruded or dimpled nipple. Then presence of primary and secondary areola. Then distended veins, everything we have to inspect it. Then palpation. When we are palpating, palpate the farthest breast with smaller circulatory motion from the Nipple towards the axilla, that is anti-clockwise, we have to palpate and see. Same thing, we have to repeat it the nearest side also. Clockwise, we have to palpate and see. Whether it is engorgement is present or any nodule is present, we have to inform the concerned doctors. Then gently squeeze the breast tissues for colostrum. Next, uterus. In uterus, mainly we have to check the fundal height of the uterus. The purposes is to determine the uterine involution. Daily, we have to check the uterine involution. Same time, same person should check the involution of the uterus. Each day, immediately after delivery, the fundus of the uterus is lie down in the at the level of the umbilicus. So every day, once a time, we have to check the fundal height. So each day, 1.25 centimeter will be reduced. That is, half inch will be reduced. If it is not reducing, we have to inform the concerned doctors. And we will see how to check the involution of the uterus. It has three phases. That is, first one is pre-performance phase. Greet and explain to the mother. Then assess the mother's condition, whether mother is weak or drowsy. Then instruct the mother to empty the bladder. Why mother? We are informing the mother to empty her bladder means first thing is discomfort to the mother. Second one is you will get the false impression. Then position the mother in supine position. Then provide privacy and wash hands. Then second one is performance phase. Performance phase, tighten finger of the non-dominant hand closely together. Place hand ulnar side across mother's umbilicus. Press the abdomen gently and feel for consistency of the uterus, whether it is hard, contracted or bogey uterus. The measure the distance between the uterine fundus and the upper level of the umbilicus. Read height of the fundus in centimeter. Next, post-performance phase. Record fundal height in postnatal notes and report abnormal findings. Next, post-operative mother. If mother is undergone a normal delivery, we have to assess the fundal height, that is involution of the uterus. If it is post-operative mother, that is cesarean section mother, we should not check the fundal height. We have to do the abdominal girth. Next one is observe the incision site for pain, tenderness, and any discharge is present or not. Next, bladder. Assess the following. Accompany mother and record first two voidings. More if voiding less than 150 cc each time. Palpate for distension above the symphysis pubis. If patient has not voided in 6 to 8 hours post-delivery, we have to advise the after the getting permission from the doctor, we have to put the straight catheter or intermittent catheter for the mother. Then signs and symptoms of urinary tract infection is infrequent voiding, painful urination, that is dysuria, then burning micturition when voiding, then urinary retention, then foul smelling urine. These are all the urinary tract. These are all the signs and symptoms of UTI. Then postpartum voiding difficulties are related to fatigue. If mother is have urge to pass the urine, but she has a fatigue, so she will not pass the urine. Then perineal swelling. Then long difficult labor and delivery. Example, use of forceps or vacuum extractor. Then bowel pattern. Assess the presence of bowel sound. Administer daily stool softener per doctor's order. Avoid use of enemas and suppositories for patient with a third and fourth degree laceration. And first bowel movement usually occurs on after second postpartum day. Best for patient to have bowel movement before discharge, but may not happen. Often send home with stool softener, that is any laxatives like cremafin syrup, and encourage to eat fiber diet and advise the mother to do exercise and advise the mother to take plenty of oral fluids. Next one is logia. Assess pad daily for color, amount, type, and for any foul odor. Instruct the patient to notify nurse if she passes any clots. Note the size and number of the clots. Then call doctors for any excessive bleeding. Then perineal care. Instruct patient to fill perineal bottle with warm water and rinse stitches area. After each voiding or bowel movement, wipe from front to back, patting gently. Change perineal pads after each voiding and spray episiotomy area with antiseptic spray after wiping. Encourage use of sitz bath 24 hours postpartum per doctor's order for 20 minutes BD twice a day or thrice a day, especially if patient had a third or fourth degree laceration. Next, episiotomy. Assess using REDA every shift is R for redness, E for edema, E for ecchymosis, D for discharge, A for approximation. Position in lateral Sims position with upper knee bent. Gently lift the buttocks to view perineum. Flashlight may be helpful. Apply ice bag if ordered for 6 to 8 hours post-delivery to minimize swelling. Assess for presence of hemorrhoids. Teach patient to apply medication as ordered. Then Homan sign. Check for pedal and fitting edema. Check for Homan sign. Place the palm under the calf muscles and ask the mother to dorsiflex her foot. Presence of pain indicates the positive Homan sign. If it is when we are doing the Homan sign, assessing the mother, if absence of pain in the calf muscles, Homan sign is negative. To rule out the deep vein thrombosis in early stage. Next one is emotional status. It has three phases. Emotional status is having three phases, that is taking in, taking hold, and letting go. Taking in is immediately after delivery till up to 2 days postpartum. Mother needs rest and sleep. Then self-focus relieves event of labor and delivery. Then taking hold. Taking hold is preoccupied with the present, usually encompasses days 2 to 5 postpartum, interested in self-care, optimal time for teaching, and focus on caring for baby and letting go. Re-establishes relationship with others with outward focus. Next one is record the findings. Color of the conjunctiva. Whether conjunctiva is pale or normal color. Okay, if it is pale, maybe mother is having anemia. Then you have to assess the breast. Under the breast, see whether breast encouragement is present or not. If mother is having breast encouragement, as soon as we have to give the hard fermentation and express the breastfeed. After only mother has to feed the baby. Any palpable mass and tenderness is present in the breast, have to inform the concerned doctors. Then express of colostrum. Express and see whether colostrum is present or not. Then uterine involution, abdominal girth in postoperative mother. For normal delivery mother, we have to assess the involution of the uterus from the fundus to upper border of the symphysis pubis. We have to measure the involution of the uterus with the help of inch tape in centimeter. We have to measure. So each day 1.25 centimeter or half inches will be reduced. If it is same person by every day, we have to same time have to check the involution of the uterus. If any abnormal in involution, we have to inform the superiors. Then for post-operative mother, we have to check the abdominal girth. Next, perineum. In perineum, we have to see the vulval edema, vulval varicositis, and bleeding is present or not. Then for lochia, have to assess the color, consistency, amount, and order of the lochia. Then episiotomy, assess the Reda scale, redness, edema, ecchymosis, discharge, and approximation of the wound. We have to assess the normal postnatal mother. Then we have to assess the Homan sign. Now, Homan sign, how to assess? How to place the palm in the calf muscles and ask the mother to dorsiflex the foot. When dorsiflex the foot, mother is having pain in the calf muscles, Homan sign is present. Otherwise, Homan sign is absent. Next, follow-up curve. At least 3 additional postnatal contacts are recommended for all mothers and newborns. On day 3 that is 48 to 72 hours between the days 7 to 14 after birth and 6 weeks after birth. Mother should be attend the postnatal visits. Next one is postpartum danger signs. The postpartum danger signs are increased vaginal bleeding, fits, fast or difficult breathing, fever and 2 weak, severe headaches with blurred vision, then cough pain, redness or swelling, perineal region, shortness of breath or chest pain, then swollen, red or tender breast or nipple, then problems in urinating or leaking, then increased pain or infection in the perineum, then infection in the area of the wound, redness, swelling, pain or pus in wound site, and smelly vaginal discharge, severe depression or suicidal behavior. These are all the danger signs. Next, checkup and advice on discharge. Continuous of supplementary iron therapy and calcium therapy at least for 3 months, then postnatal exercises. After a month, mother has to start to do the mild postnatal exercises, then return back to routine physical activity, breastfeeding and care of the newborn, avoidance of intercourse 4 to 6 weeks until laceration or episiotomy wound healing, then family planning, advice and guidance, then postnatal checkup after 6 weeks. Next, conclusion. Till now we have discussed about what is puerperium, normal duration of the puerperium, what are the postnatal care, then about lochia, then postnatal advices, then postnatal assessments. Thank you.